Life is funny sometimes. We plan things hoping that they'll work out, and lo and behold, things don't turn out as planned. I can remember this time last year, I was sitting in a meeting of the mission and ministry team, and we were planning all of these things that we were going to do in 2020. And one of the things that we planned on doing was music ministry night that would take place on the fourth Friday of every month. And the first one that we had was on that fourth Friday in February of 2020. And by all accounts, it was a smashing success. I was so excited. I was excited that of something that we were doing, and I was looking forward to the next event that would take place in March. And I was so excited about what was going to be happening for the rest of 2020. And then March happened. All of the sudden, we had to deal with a once-in-a-century event. The coronavirus pandemic changed everything dramatically and drastically. And I can remember sitting downstairs with people from the Bible study, and we were gathered, and we all were trying to find out a way that we could worship safely, and we had come to this agreement. And so that this was what we were going to be doing for the next few Sundays. And then the next evening, things were moving so rapidly that we had to cancel worship. And we started then to think that we would have to cancel it for a few weeks. And then weeks became months. And now, for the most part, we have been worshiping virtually for nearly a year. And it looks like we will have to do that for the near future. Things like this could really tax a small church. It gets them to the point that they can't do anymore. And sadly, there have been churches that have closed their ministries. This was just too much for them. And that well could have been First Christian Church St. Paul, but it wasn't. By the grace of God, we have continued to do mission and ministry here in the East Metro of the Twin Cities. Here are a few examples of what we've been doing. By the grace of God, when unrest was happening in the Twin Cities as a result of George Floyd's death, we worked and helped Bethlehem Lutheran Church in the Midway neighborhood of St. Paul as they were trying to help people in that neighborhood who were affected by the unrest. And we collected jars upon jars upon jars of peanut butter that we donated to the Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake food shelves. Also, when our parsonage became empty, we worked with Solid Ground, which is a local agency that helps families and keeps them out of homelessness. And so we were able to provide shelter, a place to call home for a single mother and her children. And we worked with Solid Ground again to make sure that people who are moving into homes would have a staple that was in so much demand last year and in so much short supply: toilet paper. And so we were able to get together and find ways of donating, and so to make sure that families in need had what they needed. And I've also been amazed by our music ministry for Momoko and Luke, who have had to deal with the challenge of being able to provide music and also find a way to film it. And I've been so thankful for their willingness to do this and their willingness to push the boundaries. And I am thankful for someone like Rob Hamilton, our adjunct pastor, who has been able to provide preaching and also so much very important theological insight that has been invaluable. There have actually also been some great times of fellowship. Even though we weren't always able to get together, we've been having fellowship after our worship with our prayer and coffee that takes place at 11 a.m. on Sundays. And that has been a great time for us to come together and chat and to share about what's going on in each other's lives. And by far, the time that I enjoyed, one of the times that I enjoyed the most were the 2 times we were able to worship out here in the lawn and be able to do that in a safe way. The generosity that you have shown in the past year has been amazing and inspiring. You've shown commitment to each other and commitment to God. In a time and in a year where there were so many challenges, a pandemic, racial strife, a politically divided nation, and also a shaky economy. Despite all of those challenges, you have been faithful to God. So this year, you should have received some information, actually by now, either by mail or by email, of your 2021 Stewardship Drive. Now, stewardship is about more than giving money. It is about entering into a way of life. It is about seeking to follow Jesus no matter what and putting God ahead of anything else. A stewardship drive allows us as First Christian St. Paul to dream about the future, to find out ways that we can continue to be a faithful presence in Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake. And stewardship is also about responding to God's love in a spirit of generosity. We would like for you to either mail or email your pledge cards by no later than Monday, February 15th. God is not done with First Christian Church. God has worked through this congregation for nearly 140 years. And through the grace of Jesus Christ, God will continue to use our congregation to be the hands and feet of Jesus in the Twin Cities East Metro in 2021 and in the years to come. So again, I thank you so much for your generosity. And may God bless the ministry and mission of First Christian Church of St. Paul.